Talk. I'm Lizi Arbogast along with Shawn, and we are having ourselves a busy postseason.
Yeah, it is. Wow, 4 teams in states plus wrestling.
It seems like our spring is just, our winter is just going to run into our spring.
Yeah, well, spring sports start in 2 weeks, and we didn't even know until Monday.
No, yeah. It's a good thing that Ship Athletics tweets so well, because I totally forgot practice started on Monday. Anyhow, all right, so we do have 4 teams in the state basketball playoffs. We have 2 boys, Southern Fulton, who face off against Vincentian Academy at 5 p.m. at the University of Pitt Johnstown on Friday. McConnellsburg boys head to Hollidaysburg for a 6 p.m. matchup with Portage. And then on the girls' side, district champion Greencastle is going to Dallastown to play
Audenried Charter out of Philadelphia.
Out of Philadelphia. That's at 2:30 at Dallastown. And then Southern Fulton girls are going to go play Vincentian Academy, and they're at North Catholic at 1 o'clock. Starting with the boys, because they play on Friday, looks like we could potentially have 2 good matchups.
It's going to be 2 very good matchups from what we're talking about. You know, we started to learn more as the week's gone on. Southern Fulton, you know, didn't play well in the district final for good reason. You know, they were missing a starter. McConnellsburg, you know, got that 3rd seed. You know, what have you seen from these 2 teams here leading up?
Well, obviously Southern Fulton, they're going to need Trent Ryder back. He will be playing on Friday. I mean, that's clear. Even Dane Pollock and I kind of joked. McConnellsburg's coach kind of joked, well, we figured out how to beat Southern Fulton. Get one of them to get out. And he even said, like, we try to get them in foul trouble. Like, we try to do something, but nothing works. So that obviously is going to be a huge factor. Now, the Vincentian Academy, they're kind of a question mark, because I talked to their coach, and he said that he thought they'd be considered underdogs, that they think Southern Fulton's one of the top 5 teams in the states. But then again, Vincentian Academy's been ranked in the top 10 on Penn Live throughout the whole season. They're averaging 84.3 points per game. They've got 5 players in double figures, 1 averaging 9 per game. I just don't. They play a full court press defense. I mean,
I'm sitting here laughing because, I mean, you hear these numbers and then what the coach is telling us, and we're like, huh? I
mean, I know Southern Fulton's good. I've seen Southern Fulton play, and they're a very good team, but they can't compete if somebody's going to put up 85 points. They haven't even touched 80 once, and this team is averaging 85 points. So
my best guess is that the teams that Vincentian Academy plays just doesn't have the caliber of defense that Southern Fulton has. I mean, Southern Fulton plays great man-to-man defense, and you know, you don't get any better than a good man-to-man defense. That's my only explanation for you know, what this coach is telling us. If they're 10 to 12 point underdogs, it has to be because of the defensive effort they see from other teams compared to Southern Fulton.
Well, and Kent Hendershot did say that he thinks that they can kind of slow the tempo. They like to play an upbeat tempo. Obviously, if you're averaging 85 points a game, you're playing fast. If they can slow that down, which patience is the motto of Kent Hendershot.
Absolutely.
If they can slow that down and get some of that patient offense that he wants, I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
You'll see on Friday.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen to McConnellsburg either? Because looking at them, they play Portage, who I think is the 3rd seed out of District 6. The runner-up out of District 6, I'm sorry. But they're very similar. They have 2 players averaging in double figures. One that kind of carries them. Chase Novak's been kind of carrying McConnellsburg here lately. They both only have 1 senior on their starting lineup. Neither have been to the playoffs in 20 years, 20 years.
Yeah, long time. Well, McConnellsburg's never won a state game. Is that correct?
That's correct. As far as I go back, and as far as Dane Pollock goes back, he went back to 1969, I think is what he said, and they have never won a state game. So I think that, and the guys are excited, I think, because it's not a, well, we'll get to Southern Fulton girls. It's not an unwinnable game. I mean, they think they've got to, he said this is really a 50-50 game, and he thinks, Dane Pollock said it even maybe leans in their favor a little bit. So
the one thing that stood out to me when looking over what you've given us is Chase Novak. He's been leading the team in scoring, but whenever he's had bad games this season, it seems like the teams play that box and one, where they have a guy playing man on him and they play zone around him.
From
what you're saying with Portage here is they're just a straight man-to-man team. If they do that against Chase Novak, he's quick enough, he can shoot well. I think that bodes well for McConnellsburg, especially to get off to a good start, which is something Dane Pollock wants to do, is get off to a fast start. And if they're playing man-to-man against Chase Novak, he can win those matchups, and that is going to be key for them to win this game.
I think getting off to a good start is huge. I mean, he looked back at that Southern Fulton game where they missed an easy layup right out of the gate, and then Southern Fulton went on a 10-0 run, and they won by 8 points. It was just kind of like, man, like something has to get going in the first 2 minutes, even.
Yeah.
So over to the girls' side, we'll start with Southern Fulton. They face Vincentian Academy, who is the defending state champ.
4-time Whippeal Division champ.
Yep.
Loaded.
They have 7 players who are probably going to D1.
Yeah, including Brenna Wise going to Pittsburgh Division 1 for women's basketball.
You said she scored 2,000 points?
2,000 points. She's averaging almost 20 this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could keep talking, or we could just say, this is going to be a tough test for Southern Fulton.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. Talk to Terry Bard. His message to the girls was, it's going to be tough. This isn't a game where, we're supposed to win. But he said, we could play them 100 times and we might lose 99, but, there's that one chance we could win. And he's really been preaching that. And that's the biggest thing is Southern Fulton's had such a tough time starting games. They start so slow. That Tussey Mountain semifinal game, they started so slow.
Right.
They almost came back and won that. If they come out and they start tough and they punch Vincentian in the mouth, you never know what might happen.
Right. So it's going to be tough, though.
Very tough. What I'm saying is that's a big, what if. Huge what if.
And then over flip side, Greencastle, once again, Mike Ryan seems to be ever confident.
It's a confident based on what he's seen. And what he's seen, he told me, it isn't much. But what he's seeing is, a team they match up with well. They Alden Wright has one player at 6 foot, and she really doesn't play that many minutes. And that bodes well for Greencastle because when they have a size advantage, they always take advantage of that. With Katie Gelsinger down low, they like to pound it inside, and then as soon as the defense brings an extra defender, they pop it out and shoot the threes that they're known for. And they have Hannah Chris, Jane Herman, and Janae Faulkner. If you give them an open three, I'm going to give 4 out of 10 times that they're going to make one. And that's how they beat Conrad Weiser. That's how they want to beat this team.
Right. And I think emotionally and mentally, that might be a big challenge. Just because they played 2 extremely tough games, they're riding this emotional high now. But then again, I mean, we've seen Greencastle, kind of just, they don't overlook people. I don't think they're going to necessarily just come out flat or anything like that, but just realize that.
When you have Janae Faulkner, you got to be confident. I'd say easily the best player in the area. If you watch her, defensively, offensively, she has it, and she keeps the team together. Katie Gelsinger is she's such a great motivator from what I've seen. If you saw the story I did, they have every piece that you need to have a good team, and they're going to be tough to beat, even against when they get later against these good teams. They're tough, they're gritty. You watch them against Palmyra, they didn't back down, and they're not a team that's going to back down. They're a confident bunch. They hate to lose, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Last word on basketball, we did get our Siling Hill All-Stars announced. The full list is on GameTimePA.com, but Kent Hendershot of Southern Fulton was named the boys' Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year.
Not
Congrats.
surprisingly, they went 14-0 in the league for the second year in a row.
But if you ask Kent, it was probably a down season for Southern Fulton this year.
And then finally, we have wrestlers this weekend heading to the state tournament. 6 Franklin County wrestlers.
Right, yep. We have Greencastle's Jared Starlipper, Shippensburg's Chandler Olson. 3 from Chambersburg, you have Garrett Kiner, David Rump, and Drew Peck. And then, Casey Glunt shocking the state here.
Shocking the world.
Shocking the world for James Buchanan. And quick note, I think Glunt finished 6th last year in states, and Olson finished 8th. Kiner and Rump, they both got knocked out early, and then Peck and Starlipper are making their first appearance this year.
Right.
Starlipper's a senior, too. I don't think anyone saw him coming.
I saw him coming.
Someone saw him coming.
I kept seeing him coming. But according to Ed, there's some tough draws for our locals. But I think Chandler Olson, he's been doing really well lately. I never count Drew Peck out anything. And Casey Glunt said he was shocking the world. So.
Well, Ed did say Drew Peck at 170 is in a very tough weight class. They said his first 4, the first 4 bracket, you could turn that into its own little state bracket right there. And, he's got a big mountain to climb.
Right. And then also we found out that Southern Fulton has a wrestler. He's been wrestling with Everett.
He's hiding behind us all season.
Named Liam Flattery. He's a freshman who made states at 113. I believe his record is 16-9 on the season. So I'm going to head up there tomorrow and talk to him about, if you're making states as a freshman, he must be wrestling somewhere else too or doing something. So should be an exciting area
It's a great weekend for high school sports.
It is a great weekend for high school sports, and hopefully not our last weekend.
Oh, shouldn't be. I hope not.
High school spring sports. Anyway.
Before
winter? High school winter sports.
See, it's starting to mix together. We're done.
We're done. Until next time, enjoy the games.